Now, this is a question that should make us all pause. Why are genetically modified crops banned or heavily restricted in France, Germany, and Austria, the very countries whose companies are pushing these same GMOs into Nigeria? I'm not here to push conspiracy theories. I'm a global health researcher with a master's in public health, so best believe that I know how to read research articles and understand them. And what I've discovered so far from researching on this topic has me deeply concerned about what we're accepting into our country in the name of food security. Today, I'm going to show you the real data behind GMO policies worldwide. I would reveal what this means for Nigeria specifically, and I'll guide you to know how to make informed decisions about our food future. Because what I'm about to share might completely change how you think about the food on your table. First, let me be clear about what we are discussing. Genetically modified organisms, or GMOs. They are plants or animals whose DNA has been altered in labs to express specific traits. Now, this could mean pest resistance, faster growth, or tolerance to herbicides. On paper, the benefits sound so appealing. Higher yields, climate resilience, potentially fewer pesticides. But this is what matters most, and this is what often gets overlooked. It's not just the science we need to examine, it's the entire system controlling the science. Who owns it? Who profits from it? And who bears the risk? Let me show you something fascinating. This is a world map of GMO policies. France banned, Germany banned, Austria banned, Russia banned, Turkey strict restrictions, Peru moratorium. A moratorium means Peru has implemented a temporary ban or suspension on GMO cultivation rather than a permanent ban. Specifically, Peru enacted a 10-year moratorium on GMO crops in 2011, but it was later extended. Now look at this. These same European countries house the headquarters of companies like Bayer Monsanto, Syngenta, and BASF, the very corporations producing these GMO seeds. If the countries that invented and produced these technologies won't use them on their own populations, shouldn't that raise a red flag for us? Their reasons include environmental concerns about biodiversity loss, health uncertainties from lack of long-term studies, ethical concerns about corporate control over food, and protecting economic sovereignty. Economic sovereignty means a country's ability to control and make independent decisions about its own economy, particularly its food and agricultural system. Now, let's talk about what this means for countries like Nigeria. Economically, farmers become trapped in a cycle of dependence. These patented seeds cannot be replanted, so the farmers will absolutely have to purchase new seeds every season from foreign companies. Traditional farming knowledge that sustained us for generations will get pushed aside. Health-wise, we are essentially participating in a long-term experiment. So while supporters and advocates claim safety, remember that independent long-term studies on human health effects remains limited. Some research suggests potential links to allergic reactions and digestive issues, though this remains inconclusive. But here's what really concerns me as a researcher: the political consequences. When we lose control over our food systems, we lose sovereignty. The global south becomes a testing ground for policies that the West refuses to implement at home. Let me share what some high-level research actually says. Not corporate marketing, but peer-reviewed studies. Zilberman and colleagues, writing in the Annual Review of Resource Economics in 2018, found that while some GMOs do increase yields initially, long-term economic independence for farmers is rarely achieved. The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, published a 2013 report specifically encouraging African countries to strengthen local agroecological practices rather than adopting GMO models. The African Center for Biodiversity has extensively documented this issue, calling GMOs a Trojan horse for corporate control in Africa. In case you were wondering, a Trojan horse refers to something that appears helpful or beneficial on the surface, but actually contains a hidden threat or agenda inside. This term comes from an ancient Greek history, but I digress. Even World Bank reports warns about the unintended consequences of over-reliance on foreign agricultural inputs. So what can we actually do about this? First, demand clear labeling of GMO products. We have the right to know what we are eating and feeding our families. Second, actively support local and indigenous farming practices. Agroecological methods have sustained us for centuries and can be enhanced with appropriate technology. Third, resist the monopolization of our seed supply, protect seed diversity and traditional varieties. And finally, call on our policymakers to conduct independent risk assessments, not just accept approvals from Western countries that won't use these products themselves. Listen, this isn't about being anti-science. This is about being pro-sovereignty, pro-health, and pro-accountability. We simply cannot allow others to make decisions about our food security while protecting their own populations from the same risks. Let's think about this critically. Let's ask the hard questions and let's protect what's ours because our health, our children's health, and our country's independence depends on it.